guest of honor, Dr. Kohli, who is Director of Department of Ayurveda, and my dear friends. At first, let me congratulate Dr. Jawahar Shah for starting this wonderful course of fellowship and certificate course in advanced homeopathy. M.U.H.S has been pioneering research as well as newer technologies in education, and M.U.H.S thought that for a better education of homeopathy, we require some advanced courses in homeopathy, and therefore we have certified two different sets of courses. Now this course is being conducted by Alignment Education Private Limited, and I congratulate Dr. Jawahar Shah for organizing this wonderful course, where everything will be on credit-based system. There will be multiple occasions of interaction, and there will be lot more things for the normal homeopath to learn homeopathy. Homeopathy is a wonderful branch of medicine. In fact, it is one of the branch which has been very widely decorated. People talk very nicely about homeopathy. I can quote several. Mahatma Gandhi just said, homeopathy cures larger percentage of cases than any other method of treatment and is beyond doubt safer and more economical and most complete medical science. Those who get cured and corrected by homeopathy, they flatter it so much that we can quote something like Mark Twain. The introduction of homeopathy forced the old school doctor to steer around and learn something more of a rational nature about his business. You may honestly feel grateful that homeopathy survived the attempts of allopath to destroy it. Homeopathy has lot many potentials, lot many success stories, and there are lot many people who get benefit from homeopathy. In today's era of multi-pluralism, no branch of medicine, no faculty of medicine can claim that they can cure everything. So under these circumstances, it is imperative that we take best of every pathy, and therefore whatever available in one of the pathy has to be utilized for treating mankind. If some pathy has something best in one of the branches, one of the patients, one of the groups, then obviously we should take shelter of that pathy, and therefore no pathy can claim that they can cure everything. Homeopathy has several such advantages where they have been seeing that such things exist. In addition, homeopathy is entirely different type of medicine. In rest of the branches, we treat disease, whereas in homeopathy, we treat a patient. As a net result, any disease in a patient, a given patient A may differ from a given patient B. As a net result, they diagnose in such a way that the medicines are given entirely different. There are several examples that how do they do, and a homeopath does a very nice interview. It takes a very long time, and it requires a lot more intelligence than rest of the branches. Because suppose somebody has a fever, crocin or paracetamol will cure the fever. Whereas here, one symptom a patient has, he could be one of the any remedy out of 3,492, and therefore it requires a lot more intelligence for a homeopath to treat the patient, and that's why homeopaths are the one first to utilize computers, and MAC had created homeopathic diagnosis and materia medica, and therefore we must appreciate the efforts of homeopaths in these cases. At the end, in order that we see that the branch grows, we have to love your pathy, and therefore once we commit ourselves that we love homeopathy, then only the passion for the excellence will always follow, and this passion would only grow and see that the homeopathy grows. Homeopath diagnose, I am not an homeopath, but then they diagnose on symptoms and they put you in animal kingdom, plant kingdom and mineral kingdom, and then mineral kingdom you put in periodic table and vertical and horizontal, and then give you everything. Because these are the symptoms which are created by giving a say amount of small dose of that particular item, and therefore they compare, and then they realize that if same thing is given in say minute amount, it leads to cure. And that's why precisely it is supposed to be the philosophy of homeopathy. Homeopathy in addition finds out the tuning between inner mind and outer mind, and therefore what is called as the I-ness in me, and how does it differ from I-ness in you, and therefore if the inner mind is not tuned, you develop diseases. And this inner mind outer mind component is what is manifesting in the form of disease, and therefore I hypothesize that homeopathy would be very, very nice in cases of psychiatric diseases. There are several things happening. Lot many patients, they come to homeopath, and then once they get cured, they are so generous they donate. Now, one of the patients who had a chronic renal failure was diabetic, and then he was out of scope and out of hope, and then he was long term on dialysis, and some homeopath cured him, and then he was a billionaire, and then that guy just donated 25 crore rupees for development of homeopathy. So there might be several such examples, and including in the past. Slide 1. Now this is me. I am Vice Chancellor of Maharashtra of Health Sciences. Our university which caters all faculties of medicine, and we have medicine, our modern medicine, Ayurveda, homeopathy, and all colleges, total 311 colleges. Now everybody was happy, and then suddenly there was one paper in Lancet. Slide please. Now this paper was shown that are clinical effects of homeopathy placebo effects, a meta-analysis of placebo controlled trial, and suddenly this paper gave a sort of a pessimism to all homeopathy, and therefore, but it was a meta-analysis of say more than 89 clinical trials. Slide please. And therefore I think it is out of place to go into pessimism, and because suppose you see this slide. Now this slide shows you meta-analysis of all those trials, and because overall number of trials which were against homeopathy were more, and therefore the conclusion was that homeopathy is placebo effect. But then what is important is we are not looking at the field part of glass. The field part of the glass shows that there are several studies, you know, in this chart more than say 30 to 40% of studies, they show that homeopathy works. Now after this report I read, and say M.U.H.S invited lot many homeopaths across the country, and we had a meeting in Bombay where we showed all these studies to them, and everybody was a competent, very say dynamic homeopath. So I requested him that it is imperative that in order to see that the bias converts or goes towards homeopathy, the number of clinical trials which show positive and favorable report towards homeopathy has to be increased, and therefore there were around 40 to 50 homeopaths. I requested them that we should have a multi-center clinical trial, and it could be done very fast, and therefore this homeopathic trial would add in favor of homeopathy, and therefore then this whole pessimism will go away.